Hey, my name is Bryce Trevitt, and I'm going to take you guys today on a hike to find some rattlesnakes, hopefully. And once we do that, we're going to learn a little bit about them. We're going to try to take that fear out of the snakes. I know it's April right now, so it's the time all the snakes come out. All you hikers are going to be encountering snakes on the trails. Hopefully this video will serve the purpose of diminishing some of that fear you may have, that panic when you see one. Also, bestow upon you some knowledge about what to do in the event of a snake bite, when you do encounter a snake, and how to safely observe them in the wild. And so hopefully today we can find a rattlesnake and show you some cool things about them, get you a nice up-close encounter, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two. So we've got Angel back here with the camera. Woo. And so let's get on the trails and see what we can find.
Sweet.
Ouch! This is how we look for snakes out here. We just kind of hike around through the brush. Got our boots on, going over the ankles, got some long pants, and nice pair of keen eyes. We're just kind of looking for any abnormalities in the ground, like just a little piece of scale that's kind of sticking out, you know, just unusual shape, something that just kind of sticks out a little bit. And after doing this for a long time, you kind of just pick up on those things. Hopefully we can find some snakes here and give a nice presentation of the local snakes and Palos Verdes that you might run into on your hikes. All right. Rattlesnake. Nice. Little one. Whew.
Well, that one's pretty.
Yeah, it is really pretty. So this is the Southern Pacific rattlesnake that we just came upon, and one of the main reasons we're making this this video is to kind of help you lose the fear a little bit of snakes when you're out on the trails and you come across one of these animals. So as you can see, it's looking at me, it's facing me right now, and but it's not coming at me, it's not attacking me, it's not trying to come closer. It's just trying to go the opposite direction while still maintaining a visual on me. So if I was to actually try to grab this snake right now or attack it, it would definitely bite me. But that's because it feels threatened, and as long as I don't muck with it or like actually try to come after it, it just wants to get away. And this is always going to be the case with any snake, whether it's venomous or not. I just bit the snake hook there. But if you're on the trail, I'm going to do this little demonstration here. I'm going to put him in the middle, and we'll walk up to him, and you can kind of see exactly how it behaves. So say you're hiking along, and here's a rattlesnake. You can walk around the tail end of it just like this. Give it a couple feet, and just walk by, and he's not going to mess with you at all. He's still just taking this defensive posture. Now if I was to walk around the front of it, you're going to have more of a problem. He's going to S up, and he might strike at you, but it's because you're in his direction of escape. So as long as you give the snake an escape in the direction he was originally traveling, you're not going to have any problems with a rattlesnake at all. So Southern Pacifics, they're pretty variable in color, and when they're young, they're generally much lighter in color, usually kind of more whitish and light brown, and then as they get older, they darken up a bit. They even can almost be real black in color. Man, that's just a beautiful snake. But this one is really unusual looking. As you can tell, the scales are almost pinkish in between the brown. And I've never seen a Southern Pacific rattlesnake looking like that. So, you know, I was going to describe how these generally look, and we find one that is totally an abnormality. But really beautiful nonetheless. So as you can tell, he's rattling. So this rattle can't hurt you, it can't sting you or anything like that, which is a common belief. But all it is it's made out of keratin, the same thing that your fingernails are made out of, and they're loosely connected together. And so when these muscles shake that tail, them hitting each other back and forth makes that little maraca sound. And this is used to warn predators to stay away. Most of the time the snake won't even use the rattle unless it feels like it's absolutely been seen. If this snake was to be sitting coiled up in the shade or in the bushes, and you walked by it, it's most likely not going to rattle because it's relying on its camouflage as its first line of defense. If it can go without being seen, then it doesn't have to expend the energy to get away or defend itself. Doesn't need to strike. You know, it can just be left alone, and it prefers to not have a confrontation. But if you touch it, try to kill it, try to handle it, that's when it'll take the defensive posture like it is here. And even then, not once has it tried to come and attack me. It's still just trying to move off and continue on with its day. Also, the best way to distinguish the rattlesnake from other snakes in this area is, as you can tell, he has a triangular shaped head. It's, you can really differentiate the head from the rest of the body in terms of width. And that's because this snake has venom glands, and it has one on each side of its head. So it makes the back of the head look poofy. And as you can see, he just used those venom glands on Angel's lens. Got some venom on the lens there. These snakes can't like fly or like strike so hard that they cover distance in the air. As you can see, that strike was pretty much max distance. You know, it's roughly the third of the body or so. But as long as you give this snake a few feet, you're not going to have any problems being in danger of getting bitten. Ways to avoid getting bitten by a rattlesnake: the best thing you can do is wear boots that go over your ankles when you're out in the field. Wear some long pants. Avoid walking in tall brush. And if you see the rattlesnake, don't try to touch it or catch it or kill it. Don't be afraid. Just walk past it and you'll be just fine. Now, another thing to be especially aware of when you're out in these environments, out in nature, and you're in rattlesnake country, if you get tired and you decide to take a rest, you know, on a log or a big rock or a boulder or something that has an overhang underneath it, on a hot day, rattlesnakes will use that as shade to cool off. So if you're gonna sit in one of those places, make sure you do a check real quick. Go to the other side and look underneath. Make sure there's no rattlesnake sitting coiled up next to where your feet might be hanging down. That's a common way people do get bit at times. And although this snake is not out to bite somebody, in that moment it might feel threatened. And even though you don't see it, it thinks that it's been seen and it thinks that it's in danger. And so that's what's going to cause it to strike out and bite. You know, it's springtime right now. This is the time that these animals waken out of hibernation. They're out looking for food and they're looking for mates. And so, you know, from this time, they're going to be out during the daytime. It's not too hot yet, but once it starts getting into like May, June-ish, when the temperatures get real hot, these snakes are primarily going to be out in the morning and late afternoon when it starts to cool down a little bit. During the middle of the day, they're going to be in the shade of a tree or a rock, or they're going to be underground. They are cold-blooded, so they need the environment to, the environment helps their body temperature go up or down. So if it's too hot, they're going to go in the shade. If they're too cold, they're going to come out in the sun. What to do if you get bitten by a rattlesnake on accident? There's a lot of misinformation out there about what to do. There's things like snake bite kits on the market and other things like that. You don't want to use those. You don't want to use a snake bite kit. You don't want to suck the venom out. You don't want to try to cut it out. You don't want to put a tourniquet on it. You're just wasting your time. If you get bit by a rattlesnake, what you want to do is get to a hospital ASAP. Your number one priority is to try to stay as calm as possible and try to panic as little as possible, because the faster you're panicking, your heart rate goes up, and it's just going to send that venom through the body even faster. Your top priorities: calm down and get to a hospital, because you need anti-venom. And anti-venom is going to be the one thing that is going to help you in a snake bite. Once you get anti-venom, your body's going to start fighting the effects of the venom, and you'll be able to start recovering. So you just want to get to a hospital as quick as you possibly can. Call 911 if you have cell phone service. Let an ambulance come down or a helicopter come pick you up. These snakes, rattlesnakes, mostly have hemotoxic venoms, and that destroys your blood and your tissue. However, the southern Pacific rattlesnake, which we have here in Palos Verdes, is a little bit different, and their venom is a little bit more unique. It actually has a neurotoxic property in it, which affects your nervous system as well. So not only will you have blood and tissue damage from a snake, from the bite of the snake, but you can also start having problems with your muscles. Your muscles may stop working. You're going to have breathing problems. You're going to have blurred vision. I have a buddy who got bit by one of these a while ago, and he has a great video about exactly what happened to his body. He almost didn't even make it out from where he was hiking. It just took over. He couldn't walk anymore. He couldn't talk. He lost almost full control of his body before he even got medical attention. So it is important just to get to the hospital as quick as you can with one of these, if you get bit by one of these snakes, and get anti-venom. But as long as you don't mess with them, you don't try to catch them or kill them, you're not going to have an issue with a rattlesnake. Just watch where you're walking and keep a safe distance. If you see one, admire it. They're real cool to watch. Pretty interesting animals, certainly beautiful. But other than that, we're going to keep moving on, try to find some other snake species to show and talk about with you all. So, yeah. Woo! Beautiful little animal.
Southern Pacific rattlesnake.
Southern Pacific rattlesnake. I hope you learned something, and hope from now on you won't be as fearful and just a little bit more understanding about these beautiful snakes out here. They do provide a role in keeping the rodent populations down, which helps prevent disease, and they definitely play a role in the ecosystem that is extremely important for both nature and for humans as well. As always, we like to move these snakes off the road so that they don't get hit by a biker or have a encounter with a human being, because that usually also ends in the snake being killed, unfortunately.